Alrighty, this is 5 contract targets for the West Tigers for 2027 ahead of that November 1 deadline. I'm Phoenix Trinidad. This is Darren Parkin. Darren, the West Tigers didn't get the spoon this year.
No, they didn't. I was hoping at the start of the year that the target might have been 10 wins. They won 9, lost a couple of close games. So I think their fans needed to see some reward or some signs that what they were doing were working. They focused a lot on internal development through their own youth systems, and it started to work for them. I think the year before you could see the direction, even though they finished on the bottom of the table, they were more competitive and they had more runs of momentum.
Yeah, that
started to translate into results in 2025, and it's still another significant step for them to jump from where they are now to a side that can contend, but they would certainly be thinking that playing finals isn't beyond their reach if they get some key decisions right over the journey.
Yep, absolutely. So before we get into their 5 options, just remember this video is brought to you by zerotackle.com. Not only is it Australia's #1 independent NRL news source, it also has games. So test your footy knowledge with NRL Streaker or NRL Name Scramble at zerotackle.com. Also subscribe to the YouTube channel if you haven't already. We have plenty of content coming out, including during this off season. So with all that out of the way, let's take a look at 5 November 1 contract targets for the West Tigers. Alrighty, so the West Tigers, they're starting to look like a place that you would want to be recruited to. Like, the vision is very clear, as you said. In terms of their 2027 squad, they have a fair amount signed. Of course, off contract at the end of 2026, you have Jack Bird, Jarome Luai, player option. Jarrell Skelton, who we may be sending to other teams based on this series. So what are they going to be looking for in terms of signings?
Yeah, 10 spots available. I'll be hoping that Jahream, Bula and Jarome Luai lock away a couple of those spots. Luai probably the more likely to stay of those 2 players. And then that obviously addresses their targets. They've had a bit of not a cultural shift, but trying to... you see the way they handled the Galvin thing, where they very quickly said you're either on the right or you're not.
Yep.
And I think that's what they're trying to do, in the sense that you're either coming with us or you're not coming with us. We're not going to accept that we're going to get used as a temporary stay and all of that type of thing. So, and I think so far it is working, and that's rubbing off on a lot of the groups. So I'd be keen to see what they do next in building blocks.
Yeah, I was wondering if we would get through this video without mentioning Lockie Galvin, but there it is. So option number 1 from the Manly Sea Eagles is Ruben Garrick.
Yeah, we mentioned if Jarome Bula does re-sign, there are still some question marks over him. The Tigers need to address the back 5. Taylor May's made a really strong start to his career, but obviously the next step is important for him to prove himself. So there are some question marks, even if they might find the solutions internally. So they might well look at someone like Garrick, tall, fast, agile, can obviously be a kicking role for them as well, can play any of centre, wing or full back. So that would give them a real stability, but also versatility as well.
Yep, absolutely. So option number 2, Lindsay Smith from the Panthers. So they definitely need to bring in some reinforcements into the middle third of the park. So that's where Lindsay Smith comes in.
Yeah, they handled that okay, but certainly need more depth, I think, going through. There's certainly starting positions as well, which is, a big selling point for a lot of these as well. The Tigers could be in the multi-club race for Lindsay Smith. Perth, who we've mentioned a number of times through all of these, are looming. But the Tigers should be as well. He's the best available prop on the market, and the Tigers need that more than most.
Yep. And option number 3, a bit of experience and a bit of attitude, Cam McInnes from the Sharks.
Yeah, when you're trying to build a culture for a team that hasn't experienced a lot of success, they don't have a lot of players there. Admittedly, they're obviously their coach, born and bred, that has a fair degree of success within that realm as well. But getting players in that can help you build that identity, if you will, and what you're trying to do. Lock forward can still slot in at dummy half as required, makes a lot of tackles, very efficient, strong ball runner. He might miss a little bit with an ACL anyway through the 2026 period, but I think they would anticipate that he would find his best form before the end of the year.
Yep. Absolutely. So option number 4, an interesting one. So in 2027, the expectation is that Jarome Luai will still be there, but Of course, it's rugby league. There's no guarantees
Yes.
in this game. So Tyron Wishart is our option number 4 from the Melbourne Storm.
Yeah, and that would obviously his priority would climb the ladder if the Luai decision doesn't go the way they want it to be. They've got long-term question marks in positions through halves, fullback or hooker. Luai has player options, plenty of those. We mentioned Bula as well, hasn't re-signed as yet, so the Tigers would likely need to throw quite a bit of money at Wishart, maybe more than some of the competitors would have to do. But you know, the level of priority for him would jump significantly if they don't re-sign Luai.
Yep. And the last option number 5 for is Corey Pakes from the Broncos. So obviously Apasai Coruscant is probably the first choice dummy half for the Tigers heading into 2027. But as it stands, no conceivable backup option. So that's probably where Corey Pakes comes in.
Yeah, they'll probably do what they've done a little bit and look internally for some first grade options. But you know, there's not an obvious one there, so that means they might look elsewhere. And, you know, Corey Pace potentially the best option to settle into that role. He was a junior State of Origin rep, fell out of favour at Brisbane in 2024, but then obviously rebounded through what was an amazing campaign for that side this year. You know, he's a talent. He's still got a couple of players ahead of him, though, in that Maguire system. So yeah, he could look for a way to, you know, get to starting number 9, and the Tigers could certainly look to offer him that.
Yep, absolutely. All right, thank you, Darren. Those are our 5 contract options for the West Tigers. Let us know what you think in the comments. West Tigers fans are usually pretty vocal in the comments, so let us know. Subscribe to the YouTube channel if you haven't already, and we'll catch you on the next one.